Good evening once again. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and my colleague Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language interpretation. Tonight, today's traders meeting held at the Fairway Hotel in Kampala has been characterized by discontent and confusion among participants. The meeting, attended by leaders of various trade associations, security officers, RCCs and the State Minister for Kampala and Mityana, Kabuye Togabye, addressed several concerns regarding the high taxes and government policies affecting traders.
The traders resolved not to attend any other meeting with the state until their issues are addressed. They expressed concerns about the electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing system, IFRIS. The meeting also highlighted the impact of high taxes, including the 35% withholding tax and the 18% VAT value-added tax, as well as a fine of 6 million Ugandan shillings for failing to pay.
Taskis techalabikako. Shoprite tekyaliwo wano. Kampala Cement eno yakagenda kati era bw'ona ogenda ku offices zaayo ogenda kakasa. Nakumati n'abalala bangi bonna basaanyeewo lwa nkola eno.
They also mentioned that Kenya has overtaken Uganda's regional market due to their lower taxes and less stringent policies.
Neggulo twabadde mu finance, omwabadde Minister owa Finance Mr. Kaseija, omwabadde owa Trade Mwami Mwebesa, Honorable Mwebesa, wamu ne General Mbadi ne Commissioner General. Twafulumyeyo mu meeting nga batugambye titubaweemu wiiki bbiri batereeze eki ensonga zino.
In response, the State Minister Chofa Togabye confirmed that a meeting with the head of state, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has been scheduled for Friday, April 19th, 2024 at 10 a.m. State House, Entebbe.
People still have mixed feelings, but one thing I've discovered again, there is a lot of infiltration by politicians and opportunists who think if they convince the traders to continue closing down their businesses, they are going to affect the NRM government.
Wadulo Makanold for UBC News at Fairway Hotel in Kampala.
Kampala traders have continued with their sit-down strike, which began yesterday to protest against the URA's electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing system, IFRIS. There has been a notable decrease in the number of traders present in town, with many shops closed and business activities halted.
Naye amazima tetugenda kuggulawo mpaka batulabye president.
Traders across the country and other regions initiated this 5-day strike to express their opposition to the IFRIS system and the passive double taxation enforced by Uganda Revenue Authority. It's the second day of the business owner strike protesting against URA's unfair taxation.
Buli lucha wameruko omusolo mupya ate nga bw'otunuulira financial regulations waliwo akawaayiro oba omutuuze oba omuwa omusolo wasobola okubuuliza oyo akolekitinga omusolo nti kiki kye wangattako. For example, mu financial year eya 2023-2024 nakuwa omusolo bwe guti wangattako ki nsobola okuwa omusolo omulala.
Omusolo gwe batujjako tetulina kye tugufuna. Ffenna tuli kimu era tuli bamativu katuggalewo business. Ffenna twekalakaasa olw'omusolo omungi ogutuggyibwako.
Although the situation remains calm, security patrols are active in the city center. Thaddeus Musoke, chairperson of Kasita, expressed disappointment in the lack of progress during the meetings and reiterated the traders' determination to continue the strike until their grievances are addressed by the government.
Meeting ey'eggulo twaweerezaayo delegation Ministry of Finance. Twavuddeyo nga tulayidde obutadda mu lukiiko lwonna olw'ensonga tewali kye twajjeeyo era ekiwandiiko kyonna kibagezaako okufulumya nga ffe abasuubuzi tetujja kukikkaanyaako kubanga ebintu byaffe baatulaze tebasobola kubikolako.
Other traders in several regions across the country have also closed their shops for continued dissatisfaction with the double taxation and the IFRS system.
Sasulanga ogula, sasulanga otunda, sasulanga olikola. Kusazeo ido twabene meeting ido nga abasuubuzi twasalawo fena tugala amaduuka olw'embeera eyo.
Today, the 17th of April, the traders' leadership met with the State Minister for Kampala and Metropolitan Affairs, Jofato Gabye. However, this feel their concerns are not yet to be addressed, hence seeking a meeting with President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
Nafe tugamba President tukirize tumaleke nnaku zino mpaka nga tukusisinkanye twogere naawe tulyoke tudde tukula amaduuka.
It is worth noting that the closure of business not only impacts traders, but also affects other sectors such as transportation.
Maduuka begabeera magali oba tokyafuna abantu abajja kukola ki ogula ebintu bituvuga era tuba tukosebwa. Era tubadde tusaba abasuubuzi ne gavumenti mu Museveni ayogere n'abasuubuzi basobole okukwatagana ne ba landlord tusobole okukola.
However, a few traders in downtown Kampala, specifically in Chikubo, have chosen to reopen their businesses amidst the ongoing strike. This is Aino Mugisha Romeo.
Mu Uganda yaffe weetuuse omuntu bw'otuule waka n'omala wiiki ennamba nga tokola oba togenda lya n'abeewo baba tebagenda kulya.
As the traders' sit-down strike persists, there is no time limit for resumption of business. However, the traders' leadership say reopening of business shall be based on the yields from negotiation with governments. Justin Nakami, UBC News.
Thank you, Justine. Now, the sit-down strike has not only disorganized the consumers, but also the transport sector, who are concerned about the continued sit-down strike by the traders, which they say has affected the transport sector. Taxi and bus have appealed to responsible organs to amicably resolve the existing difference between traders and tax collectors before the situation goes out of hand. Saddam Mubale has the story.
It's now day 2 of sit-down strike after traders under their various umbrella bodies led by Kampala City Traders Association Kasita announced a nationwide closure of shops for what they termed as unfair tax policies that was introduced by the Uganda Revenue Authority. The strike has caught up with traders, especially those from the neighboring countries of Congo, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda and South Sudan, who had come to shop in Kampala.
Wenye natoka Sudan ingini ziko hapa leo 3 days hakuna kununua vitu au nalala kwa hotel. Wenye natoka Central Africa yote nanunua vitu leo iko kwa hotel. Wenye natoka Congo yote leo iko hapa Kampala hapa iko kwa hotel. Hakuna cha kuenda au nakuja kununua vitu haina mali. Duka unafunga. The
interstate cross-border bus operators, whose main customers are traders from the East African region, among those affected. Majid Yusuf is the manager of Bus Car Company. He says they would send at least 2 buses per day before the strike, but now only 1 bus is in operation.
Ever since shops have been closed, it's now almost 2 to 3 days. We have totally failed to work. Normally our buses leave Nairobi in the evening, they reach here in the morning, clients go do shopping, and the evening hours they go back to Nairobi. But ever since the shops have been closed, we are totally not working. We are stuck. We are burning fuel, no passengers, no business, no movement. We are operating under losses.
Because our biggest clients are business people from Kenya. They usually come this side to buy a lot of goods. So as per now, they are not traveling. Our buses are moving empty. We are not carrying any goods so far. So we are very much affected.
Most of the traders, they come to do business here in Uganda. Now like Sudan, they get each and everything from Uganda. So when the movement of the vehicles are active, that means the trade between the different countries are going on well. But you're seeing that these shops are closed. Some of the buses are not even moving the way they used to move.
The transport sector is now appealing to the concerned parties to resolve the existing grievances for business to flourish.
Tunatembeza mafuta, lakini watu ambayo wa passengers tunachukua ndio hao wanatupa pesa tutafanya nini? Tunanunua mafuta, lakini hatuwezi kutembeza gari bila passenger.
With traders and government pulling from different directions, it remains to be seen on when the standoff will end, whose pinch has been felt from different sectors of the economy. Saddam Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
Now, a section of taxi operators in Kampala has announced a national sit-down strike commencing on the 29th of April 2024, accusing the government of failing to address a range of challenges, including taxes and mismanagement within their industry. However, other members of the industry have distanced themselves from this proposed strike.
As the government of Uganda continues its dialogue with the business sector, primarily traders, over tax grievances, a faction of tax operators has also notified the government of yet another looming strike.
So we are going to put all our business down on 29th this month, this year.
The purported strike is expected to commence on Monday, April 29th, 2024 and will be observed across the entire country.
We have problems like in Masaka. They have already brought back the roadside receipts which were removed by the president.
Mukuye Nuruddin, the chairperson of the aggrieved tax operators group, along with other members, are accusing the government of failing to heed their repeated calls to streamline their industry.
We have engaged every ministry. We have engaged several ministries, the KCCA, but nothing has come out positive to our side. So we have decided to put tools down on 29th April this year.
However, some tax operators and leaders have distanced themselves from this action, referring to its framers as opportunists.
Since we are in dialogue, we cannot think of striking. So that document which is being issued by Nuruddin and the company we are not part of it. And there is nothing that's going to occur as a demonstration.
Birungi Maweje highlights that while some issues raised by sector players are genuine, laying down tools isn't a solution.
Yes, he is right to say that we are not elected. Sincerely speaking, Utofu leadership was not elected, but we are appointed. We are selected by government officials. We are selected, one, to unite the taxi drivers, which we have done. Secondly, to see to it that the leadership of stages is done or is held in the democratic way, which we are doing. They see there are things that are hurting us, but that's the way to come to the conclusion or to iron out those problems is through dialogue, not through striking.
Roberto Nyango, UBC News.
Now, tax experts have weighed in on the long-awaited meeting between the protesting traders and President Yoweri Museveni. Professor Francis Ochana, the executive director of the East African School of Taxation, says EFRIS is an ideal tool that will help the tax body identify defaulters. However, he insists that the system implementation requires maximum engagement with major stakeholders.
What is taking place in Egikubo, people who do business there are middlemen. Majority of people there who own or wholesale, they don't know buyers, the buyers. The seller does not know the wholesalers. That's why what is taking place in Egikubo, you find the middleman goes to the wholesaler after getting the buyer. The buyer say, I want 30 bags of what? Of rice. Then after saying I want 30 bags of rice, you find now on the process of going to load the rice, the revenue authority comes and say, you man, you are loading the lorry, where is the receipts? And now the middleman cannot say I bought it from there because his benefit is on that what? The difference is on that what? On that receipt. That's why the conflict is there. Because the middleman, they don't want to tell exactly what is the sale in a day. And now the electronic machine which has been brought, if you buy one item, it shows. If you buy two items, it shows. That's where the conflict is. The conflict which is with the Revenue Authority, is the truth. The Revenue Authority wanted to know the truth from the business community, which is very impossible.
What is the way, you as a tax analyst, what do you say is the way forward?
The way forward is that they have their representative as an MP in their area. Like I admire Iserko. The other day Iserko brought that thing in the floor of Parliament. Yeah. Now as Iserko has brought it in Parliament, the Speaker is also aware. So the body, because there's no need for this trader to go and see the president. It's not a politics. Because when you are going to see the president, you have turned the whole process as a politics. Because this is an administration thing. That's why I'm saying the problem of this thing is the administration in income tax. Administration in VAT. We are handling administration. You see? Yes. You see there's a difference between politics and administration.
Now, Parliament has considered merging the Uganda Export Promotions Board with Uganda Free Zones Authority into one entity called the Uganda Free Zones Export Promotions Authority, but under the supervision of the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. Now, this follows the ongoing deliberation on rationalization agenda, and the chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on Trade and Tourism, Mwine Mpaka, observes savings of about 6.227 billion shillings in the first year of the merger.
The debate on the bills of Parliament to pursue the rationalization of government agencies and public expenditure has gained momentum in the August House.
I put a question that Clause 34 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say under control and nay. The ayes have it.
On Wednesday session, bills including the Uganda Export Promotions Board Amendment Bill 2024, the Uganda Free Zones Amendment Bill 2024, and the among others were considered and mainstreamed with the Mother Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives.
Title settled and the bill passed. Congratulations, the Minister and the committee members and the members of Parliament.
The Mbara South legislator, also the chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on Trade and Tourism, presented the justifications guiding the merger, empowering the Minister for Trade on a number of services. The Uganda Warehouse Receipt System Authority will be operating under one roof with the Ministry of Trade, while the Uganda Free Zones and Uganda Export Promotions Board have been merged to create the Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotions Authority.
The bill passed. Congratulations, Minister and the committee. Thank you.
Mwine Mpaka notes that government would save up to 12.4 billion by mainstreaming the Uganda Warehouse Receipt Systems Authority under the Ministry of Trade.
There would be no costs accruing to government as a result of mainstreaming Uganda Warehouse Receipt System into the ministry responsible for trade. 2, that the bill addresses mischief and intends to improve market efficiency and mitigates risk because it will be easier for farmers and traders to access credit using their stored agricultural commodities as collateral, leading to more efficient allocation of resources.
Concerns to merge the Uganda Warehouse Receipt System Authority included the system acting as a regulator and poor absorption of funds allocated.
We have just told you they have been doing activities outside their mandate. They are not supposed to be constructing warehouses, constructing stores, but they have been doing it. We have just told you that they are keeping money, even after the financial year has ended, on their accounts and appropriating for themselves.
However, some sections of members of Parliament disagreed with the merging, cautioning government to deal with human resource gaps that affect the mergers and also lack of consultations by some stakeholders.
I just want to emphasize and to appeal to government, because some of these individual entities have got challenges, inefficiencies, as we have seen reported in the press, fraud and so on, and these are being handled by our accountability committees. Merging the entity will not deal with inefficiencies for as long as we don't deal with human resource. Have the right man or woman for the job, supervise them to make sure they're doing what is expected of them.
So if we get a regulator and we put them under the ministry, that I think there will be a conflict. You cannot be the implementing ministry, then be the regulator of the whole sector.
Lydia Chomkama and Gloria Gutabinji, Parliament.
Parliament has warned the general public against misusing social media with the intentions of tarnishing the reputation of others. Both the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, and Deputy Thomas Tayebwa have re-echoed the need to stop unnecessary malice through social media. This week, some social media platforms reported that the Deputy Speaker, Thomas Tayebwa, was engaged in a land-grabbing scandal in Katabi, Entebbe. Tayebwa was forced to link with the family members involved in the dispute in order to ascertain the truth in the matter.
Era nga nkola akatambi kano nga nsaba oweekitiibwa Deputy Speaker ansonyiwe kuba nze nziza Patrick yaŋŋamba nti yali ttaka lyange.
This is Esther Lubunde, who was this week recorded alleging that the Deputy Speaker Thomas Tayebwa grabbed her land in Katabi. The video, widely shared on social media, forced the Deputy Speaker Thomas Tayebwa to invite the lady in Parliament.
What is painful is how social media is being used to destroy people's names and lives.
Esther, accompanied by her father and lawyer, revealed to the Deputy Speaker how she was misled to include Tayebwa in the land scandal.
So we followed up until we got who is the current owner of the property. And we found indeed is also a Tayebwa.
Tayebwa accepted Esther's apology and asked the general public to desist from misusing social media to spoil the reputation of leaders.
I'm going to write to the IGP to really see how best we can fight this vice. I'm told some people even interfere with police investigations using our names. This has to stop.
The misuse of social media has increased among a section of Ugandans, despite the enactment of the Anti-Computer Misuse Act.
Honorable members, there was something that was written on social media on issues circulating that yesterday I backed at Honorable Bahati as being one of the worst ministers, incapable of running a ministry of trade.
Anita Among asked the Uganda Communications Commission to investigate the people who have made it a habit to mock and attack her reputation through the social media.
And I am going to bring people to book. I am going to bring people to book. I think they don't know whom they are dealing with. How can you start abusing social media to that extent? You say Bahati was attacked?
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
UBC News tonight. Now, government has launched a national physical development plan, a vehicle through which both national and local governments will guide and foster inclusive, orderly and sustainable development across the country. While officiating the launch, the First Deputy Prime Minister, Rebecca Kadaga, who represented the Vice President, Jessica Lupo, said this will go a long way in protecting natural resources like water bodies, wetlands, among other gazetted areas against encroachment.
Government has launched a national physical plan for the first time since independence. Judith Nabakova, the team leader of the brains behind this development, describes the National Physical Plan as a vehicle that will drive inclusive, orderly and sustainable development in the country.
Because it guides us. We will know that at time A, we shall need a school here, we shall need a health center here, we shall need a road. And we are going to use the planners within the respective local governments to begin planning for their areas.
The First Deputy Prime Minister, Rebecca Kadaga, who represented the Vice President at the launch, missed no words explaining how timely the National Physical Plan is, especially as regards to the need to protect and conserve the country's natural resources.
Uganda is richly endowed by nature with natural resources that we can need to be preserved, nurtured, and planned for ahead of time to ensure the optimal and sustainable utilization. These resources include the population and land, which are critical for development of our country. As you are fully aware, Uganda's population rate is currently estimated at 3.3% per year, one of the world's fastest.
In all this, local governments have been identified as the prime stewards charged with the responsibility of ensuring full implementation of the physical plan. However, according to the Minister for Local Governments, Raphael Magezi, a lot needs to be done if this is to be realized.
The plan will require financing, it requires staffing, it requires resources and so on. Local governments are not adequately funded. When you look at the facilitation, emoluments of councillors, who are the ones to monitor and supervise and oversee implementation, it is really paltry, it's very little.
It should be noted that even as local governments oversee revenue collection in their jurisdictions, it is the responsibility of the central government to determine how much of these funds is sent back to respective local governments. Citing this as a lacuna in decentralization, the Line Ministry is proposing a review of this arrangement if local governments are to reap from their sweat.
The little local revenue they collect comes to the center first, stays here for some wonderful months, then is sent back to them, sometimes in bits and pieces. This is very demoralizing for them, and it does not enhance plan implementation.
On this, the first Deputy Prime Minister Rebecca Kadaga agrees.
The revenues are coming to the central government, where they are kept by central government, and for over 1 year, and yet they are needed by the local governments. So we've tried to bring an amendment to liberate the local governments from the tyranny of the central government.
With it, the National Physical Plan has a number of pillars under which different government ministries, departments and agencies are tasked to foster sustainable development and a planned Uganda for all. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
Thank you, Dorcas Kimono. Now, the inaugural Joint African-Russian International Conference on Infection Control has commenced in Uganda, marking a significant milestone in the efforts to bolster healthcare and infection prevention measures across African nations, with a primary focus on strengthening healthcare infrastructure and combating infectious disease. The first joint African-Russian International Conference on Infection Control serves as a testament to the growing partnership between Russia and Africa. At the conference, Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda was represented by the government chief whip.
You may be aware, most of Africa lies in the tropics, and that means we are very prone to disease outbreaks of epidemic nature. We are glad to share the vast experience we have in combating epidemics of infectious diseases with the rest of the world, here represented by you, the delegates. This conference therefore marks a significant milestone in our collective efforts to strengthen global health security, foster international cooperation, and build resilient health systems capable of withstanding future threats.
Partnerships have been forged to fight specific diseases, be it HIV, tuberculosis, malaria. We have seen various forums where the global partners have come to tackle a specific disease because it has become out of control. We would recall how all of us panicked when HIV/AIDS was there, and the partnership built since then by the different partners is a good example.
We need to have a very strong labs. We need to have ability to respond as quickly as possible. We need to have a ability to have manufacturing for vaccine, for therapeutic, for diagnostic. We need to have a workforce. Those are the 6 programmatic areas in the Africa CDC new strategy for 2023 for 2027.
As a country, we've been able to build capacity with the 12 reference and specialized labs that we have that are supporting in routine surveillance, preparedness and response to outbreaks, including the new addition mechanism of use of rapid response labs since 2020.
The Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Peter Lokeris, has commended President Museveni for fighting unemployment among the youth through various interventions, such as the Presidential Industrial Zonal Hubs project. Currently, there are 19 industrial zonal hubs spread across the country. The minister made the remarks today as the chief guest during the second graduation of 423 students who successfully completed their vocational training at Napak Presidential Industrial Skilling Hub in Napak District.
Graduates who represent a diverse range of backgrounds and experiences from the 90s such as Moroto, Napak, Nakapiripirit, Kotido, Karenga, Amdat, Nabilatuk, Kabonga and the 2 municipalities of Moroto and Kotido in the Karamoja sub-region were awarded with certificates in 7 employable vocational disciplines. Honorable Peter Lokeris explained that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni initiated this skilling program with the main focus of fighting poverty among the Ugandan youth.
When we go there, you go there help us. Let us put Karamoja in a special program to develop it because they're lagging behind. So all that time he has been thinking. Now looking at these programs which he has been initiating to fight poverty at the household level, he has been thinking. That's why you are hearing things like Myoga, your operation, wealth creation, other things. He has been saying, how do I get my people out of poverty?
The State House Comptroller, Chen Bareche, who also graced this graduation ceremony, thanked the Ministry of Local Government for providing the industrial project with land to set up the facility in order to achieve the goals of the program. Bareche further asked leaders in Karamoja to make it a policy for non-government organizations to employ graduates from this program while doing any work within the region.
Good thing Karamoja is different from other districts, other regions. It has NGOs, very many NGOs that come here to construct, that come here to build, that come here to do sorts of work that needs employees. Please, if you could put it as a condition, these people here you see are very, very happy expecting to get a living from their skills.
The Napak District LC5 chairperson John Paul Codet revealed that when they started the program, the turn-up was low because majority of the would-be beneficiaries feared to join the program due to the insecurity in the area, but following efforts by the UPDF, the region has been pacified. The director from the Directorate of Industrial Training, Patrick Byakatonda, assured the graduates that their certificates are highly recognized and they are equivalent to S4 certificates.
Your hubs, they are provided with our standards, what we call assessment and training packages. The training packages to guide them when they are training, but also for assessment, because they also do continuous assessment and we do summative assessment.
Through their testimonies, several graduates who are now employed expressed gratitude to President Museveni for skilling them with knowledge that has enabled them to earn a living.
Right now, as I stand here, even the dress I'm putting on, I'm the one who made it. I'm the one who made this dress. And I'm able even to support my family, my child, my brothers and sisters, because I earn my own money.
Amazing story. UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we'll return with more stories after these messages.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy!
Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
The government of Uganda and the Uganda Bureau of Statistics is calling upon all stakeholders such as the chief administrative officers, city mayors, resident city commissioners, city clerks, city and division councillors, wards and LC chairpersons, as well as the residents and business communities to cooperate with the UBOS field teams as we embark on advanced preparations to conduct the National Population and Housing Census on the 10th of May 2024. The census will be a 10-day exercise to obtain statistical data and information that will be used for planning and policy formulation, including information on 1. How many we are, 2. Where we are, 3. How we are living, 4. What we own, and 5. Where we access services from. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics has now started listing of households and mapping in the 11 cities of Arua, Fort Portal, Gulu, Hoima, Jinja, Lira, Mbale, Masaka, Mbarara, Soroti, and in the Greater Kampala comprising of Kampala, Wakiso, and Mukono districts. For more information, please call 0755 342 128 or 0773 342 128. This message is brought to you by the Executive Director and Census Commissioner, Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Census 2024. It matters to be counted.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with Baby Junior jelly.
Though dried their chariots and everyone would admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, Baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love Baby Junior jelly. Baby Junior's the skin. No more worries anymore. Boo, 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 boo. Baby Junior. Baby Junior.
Welcome back from that break. Now in more news this evening, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, Ruth Nankabirwa, has reaffirmed government's commitment of starting the commercial production next year. She says the kick-starting of the construction of the oil pipeline is a key milestone in commercial production. Nankabirwa made the remarks while opening the annual 9th Oil and Gas Convention in Kampala.
The 9th Annual Oil and Gas Conference that brings together all stakeholders in the oil and gas sector has kicked off in Kampala. The summit aims at sharing knowledge and opportunities. During the opening ceremony, the Minister for Energy and Mineral Development, Ruth Nankabirwa, has reaffirmed the government's commitment of starting the commercial production next year.
Uganda's energy, Uganda's petroleum and gas project is alive. It is alive. We keep on checking. During these conventions, we are checking, how is the baby? What should we add on the diet? And we have set DODs, delivery dates. But sometimes it is plus or minus 2 weeks. So even with the petroleum, oil and gas, we could have plus or minus. But the DOD, the delivery date, is 2025. It could be plus or minus, depending on the factors around you.
Nyankabirwa says the kick-starting of the construction of the oil pipeline and progress in the key infrastructure developments, it's now an assurance that commercial production is nearing.
Saying we shall do everything that the world demands us to do. This pipeline is said to be the longest, 1,443 kilometers from Hoima in Uganda to Tanga in Tanzania. And our oil is that type that has to be heated. So being the longest pipeline, and we're going to heat the products which are going through the pipeline as a global thing, you know. It was almost a taboo that it cannot happen. We are now talking about insulating with 3 layers. Which pipeline in the world that transports crude has this kind of technology? None. It is the Uganda-Tanzania pipeline that is answering to the demands of the environment.
She tasked all stakeholders in the oil and gas sector to play the individual part to ensure Uganda's oil will be quality one. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
Honorable Dr. Ruth.
Now, hematologists at the Hemophilia department in Mulago Hospital have called for increased budget for the treatment of hemophilia. Now, according to Dr. Philip Kasidye, a pediatrician at Mulago Hospital Hemophilia department, he says that the treatment of the patients at Mulago Hospital is donor-funded but still insufficient. We have more.
So in people who have hemophilia, they lack these clotting factors.
Hemophilia is a rare inherited blood disorder that causes blood to clot less and results into an increased risk of spontaneous bleeding or bruising. It is a mostly inherited genetic disorder that impairs the body's ability to make blood clots that can also result into bleeding and bruising after surgery or other injuries.
That this has been a condition that that Ministry of Health had not come out really to do big awareness.
The condition tends to occur mainly in males because they have one copy of the genes which causes a recessive change in the X chromosome. However, there are only few people who are aware of the condition due to its limited sensitization.
Most of these disorders are hereditary, and therefore if interventions are not made early, we are likely to have more and more cases.
Majority of these patients have gone to traditional healers thinking they are bewitched, but it is not anything to do with witchcraft. It is a condition we are living with, and we have not taken effort to support these patients.
Apparently, the Hemophilia Foundation of Uganda registers over 500 patients who seek free medical care in hemophilia.
We have realized that the number of patients is quite big because we are looking at the prevalence of one in 5,000 births. So we expect to have over 4,600 patients in Uganda looking at our population, but how many have been identified? So
the condition, although hard to detect, sometimes presents signs like nosebleeds, blood in urine, blood in stool, bleeding from the mouth and gums, bleeding after circumcision, among others. Hemophilia can be treated through replacement of missing blood clotting factor so that the blood can clot properly, and this is usually done by injecting treatment into a person's veins.
Probably several cases across the country, but to date we've only been able to diagnose about 400 out of about 4,000 to 5,000 patients.
This year is World Hemophilia Day 2024, held at the Paramedical School Mulago Hospital, was commemorated under the theme Equitable Access for All, recognizing all bleeding disorders. Susan Naonga reporting for UBC TV.
The State Minister for Labour, Employment and Industrial Relations, Esther Anyakum, has emphasized the importance of foreign companies providing skills transfer training for Ugandan employees. According to the minister, such training not only enhances the quality of workers but also strengthens the human resources capacity within the country. These remarks were made during the commissioning of training project organized by the China Construction and Communication Company in Webaja.
The talent training program at Webaja, Kampala focuses on enhancing the skills of engineers from the China Construction and Communications Company in various disciplines to meet international engineering standards.
So for me, this is very motivational intrinsically as government, and it also gives a good relationship between the employer and the employees. As a Minister for Labour, I would really want to see that Ugandans benefit in this kind of sustainable training in the companies that we are inviting to invest in our country.
Furthermore, the Minister Chancellor of the Chinese Embassy in Uganda has pledged the additional training programs that to be undertaken by the Ugandan workers, facilitated by both CCCC and the Chinese government.
Especially the skill transfer is a priority, more and more priority of our bilateral relationship. More and more Chinese companies are doing a lot in this field. Yes, I think this is very important for our bilateral relations.
Students currently employed by CCC have expressed gratitude to the company for providing them with training opportunities to enhance their skills.
I extend my sincerest congratulations upon being selected as top talent at our company CCC and embarking on this exciting endeavor. Our dedication and active participation will undoubtedly pave the way for a brighter future, both for ourselves and for our organization.
Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
Now, the body of the former Umukuka Ambassador Wilson Wamimbi was taken to Soronko District and Manafwa for public viewing today. Wamimbi was known for his leadership as the district chairperson of Greater Mbale before its division into 7 districts. Umukuka Wamimbi passed away on the 12th of April at 8 p.m. at Chirudu Hospital in Kawempe. He was 85 years old. Throughout his life, Ambassador Wilson Wamimbi was a steadfast pillar, leaving an indelible mark on the cultural and political landscape of Bugisu. Wamimbi's legacy is deeply woven into the fabric of Bugisu's history, having served as Mbale district chairman in the 1990s and later representing Uganda as ambassador to Canada. His crowning achievement came in 2010 when he assumed the mantle as the inaugural cultural leader of the Bamasaba people, a position he held with dignity and distinction. His departure leaves a profound void in the hearts of those who cherished him and a deep sense of loss in the Bugisu community. Some of the leaders in the area have described the late as a noble leader of high stature and of integrity. In honor of his remarkable life and contributions, burial sites are scheduled to take place on Saturday, April 20th, 2024, in his ancestral home in Busano, Mbale district. Now, as Bugisu bids farewell to a beloved leader, the enduring legacy of Umukuka Emeritus Wilson Wamimbi will continue to inspire generations to come.
That government devise means of ensuring that the literal taxes collected from sub-counties, then part of it goes to the LCs down, which was adopted by the government. The person we are sending was a very honest man. Wamimbi would say, this is not out of omission, but
local leaders, in conjunction with civil society organizations in Entebbe municipality, have initiated a campaign to enhance the well-being of older persons by facilitating their access to healthcare services. Entebbe municipality, home to over 5,000 older individuals, grapples with the challenges of non-communicable diseases such as hypertension, diabetes, and inadequate nutrition, necessitating urgent medical attention. Director of Health Nest Uganda, Namara Arthur Arali, has underscored the importance of addressing these issues and has initiated a campaign to improve older persons' access to healthcare services.
Namara Arthur rally highlighted the dire living conditions of many older persons in Entebbe, emphasizing the shortage of medication for non-communicable diseases and the additional burden of caring for orphaned grandchildren.
Our work, we have realized that a number of older persons are having a lot of challenges in terms of sickness and in terms of like non-communicable diseases, which has caused or limited their mobility. So this is a challenge that we are looking at. So together with the Entebbe municipality, the councillors.
Margaret Masembe, councillor for older persons in Entebbe municipality, emphasized the timeliness of addressing the health needs of older individuals.
Have vehicles to help us to do with such vulnerable people. And we came out to join with HENU and raise funds to buy a highest Toyota vehicle.
This campaign forms part of this year's activities to commemorate the International Day for Older Persons on October 1st. Established by the UN General Assembly in 1991, this day aims to raise awareness about the challenges faced by older individuals globally. Stephen Shiaka, chairman of the NRM Entebbe constituency, stressed the crucial role of improving healthcare access for older persons.
As the NRM, we believe in unity, we believe in working together that we'll be able to solve the challenge of the elders.
This campaign seeks to provide tangible solutions to address the healthcare needs for older persons, ensuring their well-being and dignity. Abiana Francisco, UBC.
Ebiseera by'okuzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu, kano kalipagano ka bidduka. Simanya kuzunga na banka siripsi. Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *165*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu eya Uganda.
Welcome back. And now into the business scene. The Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited has called upon the public to distance from middlemen during the ongoing countrywide electricity meter upgrade. The company's spokesperson, Jonan Chiza, reiterates on the significance of this process and encourages every household to partake before the deadline, December 2024.
The rapidly advancing technology in the electricity supply chain necessitates stakeholders to harness research and innovation to ensure they have up-to-date software for accelerating effective and efficient power distribution.
As government, we have received a budget to facilitate those meters that will fail to pass this exercise, because like any other project, you will experience some 1, 2, 3, 4 failures. But government has allowed meters at the different workstations of UEDCL to ensure that a customer does not incur another cost of buying a meter should their meters fail to roll over from version 1 to version 2.
The Electricity Regulatory Authority directed all power distribution companies to commence the nationwide upgrade of electricity meters in adherence to the 30-year norm. Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited, UEDCL, has provided an update on the progress of meter upgrades in their operational areas.
Also rolled over the South Service Territory which covers a stretch right from the areas of Mitoma, stretching up to the border of Tanzania, the other side of Rakai and the Lumbu. Rakai and Lumbu, the Senjuro area, all of those areas are rolled over.
Out of UEDCL's 11 operational regions, at least 6 have commenced the upgrade process, with others scheduled for the enrollment in the phased manner. The company has initiated the upgrade exercise in the eastern region.
We have used a regional centered strategy that we are not doing a lump sum rollover of meters. Every time we are rolling over a service territory, we announce, we go on to sensitize the communities, we run spot messages on the different local radio stations to guide customers on how they are going to be rolling over.
UEDCL has issued a warning to the public regarding individuals impersonating the company as workers and extorting money for the upgrade exercise. The company plans to dispatch a team to assess the progress before the deadline.
The consequences of tampering with electricity infrastructure, as stated in the new act, especially in sections 85 and 86 of the amended act, are so severe, and the public needs to be warned that the cost of you even tampering with the meter is such a heavy cost that will actually cause pain to the entire clan.
Upon completion of the exercise, UEDCL will wait another 30 years before uptaking a similar meter upgrade process, acknowledging the ongoing technological evolution. Komagum Rogers and Abdul Nasil Duwama for UBC.
Local animal feeds manufacturers are calling upon government to ban the export of raw materials such as sunflower and soya that are major ingredients in the manufacturing of animal feeds. Uganda continues to be a net importer of animal feeds despite its comparative advantage regionally and internationally.
The call for the ban on exports of raw materials used in the manufacture of animal feeds has been made on the first day of a 2-day seminar on advancing Uganda's feed and biofuel industry, organized by Uganda Animal Feeds Manufacturers Association and Andrid's Feed and Biofuel.
We are requesting that government really helps us to see that we reduce or even stop categorically export of raw materials. Here we're talking about soya, maize, sunflower, etc. Because number one, we're destroying our own economy. When we export raw materials, it means, just as the minister said, our fellow youth are going to look for jobs in those countries. But now we have the technology here.
We need to ensure that to grow the animal feed sector, we secure the raw material. Yeah? You'll find countries like Zambia and countries like Malawi issuing export permits on a season-by-season basis based on the size of the crop.
Although Uganda is endowed with good soils and weather critical in the production of animal feeds, the country is yet to build a strong and resilient feeds industry. According to Helen Adoa, the State Minister for Fisheries, the call for the ban on export of raw materials is in line with government's import substitution and Buy Uganda, Build Uganda policy.
We may have a challenge on importing these expensive feeds, but we want to start here. Now that His Excellency has said no, first of all, to coffee, no exporting raw material, why don't we now organize ourselves here? The youth that move up and down to look for jobs can now have jobs because we shall block our raw materials to be here.
Andrid's Feeds and Biofuel is committed to offer a complete plant solutions tailored to the exact needs and specifications of Uganda's animal feed sector players.
And we want to be able to bring solutions that can be able to help the industry improve in light of the recent changes in regulations, with a focus on improving quality in production.
The animal feed sector in Uganda has been lagging behind in the region, whereas you find that most of the raw materials are got from here. So funny. But you find we are lagging.
There is a rising revolution fueled by the rising livestock population and relentless pursuit of quality and efficiency in Uganda's animal feeds industry. Dennis Igoa for UBC News in Kampala.
now to the world of sports. The UEFA Champions League returns with the second leg fixtures as Bayern Munich host Arsenal and Manchester City play Real Madrid. Now both fixtures were in a draw in the first leg and all teams have a chance to qualify.
Arsenal captain Martin Odegaard and forward Bukayo Saka will be assessed before their Champions League quarter-final second leg, with Bayern Munich manager Mikel Arteta says. Odegaard was taken off with 10 minutes remaining in Arsenal's defeat by Aston Villa on Sunday, while Saka was seen limping towards the end of the match. Arsenal and Bayern Munich drew the first leg 2-2 in London last Tuesday. The Gunners are hoping to reach the semi-finals of the Champions League for the first time in 15 years. Bayern last reached the semi-finals when they won the competition in 2020. As for Bayern Munich, defender Alphonso Davies is suspended after he picked up his third booking of this season's competition in the first leg. Winners Segna Bray, Leroy Sané and Kingsley Coman are all likely to be sidelined with knocks. Meanwhile, an epic UEFA Champions League quarter-final second leg takes place at Etihad Stadium tonight as Manchester City hosts Real Madrid with a score looked at 3-3. Pep Guardiola was asked before this game if he feared Real Madrid, the record 14-time champions of Europe. There are no injury issues for Man City as the duo Kyle Walker and Nathan Ake are back in defense, while Ederson has also returned in goal. Eder Miliato will start at the center with Chouamani out through suspension to make form the first leg.
And with that, UBC News Tonight has come to an end. Thank you so much for your company. We have enjoyed it. But do join the biggest show in the line that is behind the headlines with Timothy Nyangweso. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and my colleague Elizabeth Nakakoni on Sign Language. We bid you farewell and good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Welcome to